Hello my hair warriors, it's me, Aaron O'Brien, your friendly neighborhood hairdresser. This video is sponsored by my friends at Lordhair.com. This video is a very much requested video. It's about how I can put on my hair system many different ways. How to tape it on, how to glue it on, whether it's from the front to the back. Who knows, I might even do it upside down. Come follow me and we'll get started on this video. Hey folks, it's me, Aaron O'Brien, and here I am, bald and beautiful, but I'm gonna be hairy and beautiful in a few minutes. So today in the video, we're gonna show you exactly how to apply from the back to the front, and then from the front to the back, and the little tips and tricks along the way. Okay, so I have my trusty manager here, Melissa. This is our hair system expert that works at the Seller Salon, and she does 5 million hair systems a day. She's top class. Okay, so we want to show where the front of the hair system is. The front of the hair system here is where the lace is, and then obviously you have this more receded shape. And then the back will always have a little tag on the back of your Lordhair system, so you'll always know where you're placing from back to front or front to back. This is very easy to do. Before we place it on the back, we hold the system like this, and we make sure that all the hair is placed underneath, because we don't want, if we leave it out, we don't want any hair getting caught in the glue or into the system, because it can be a nightmare to get back out. So we always keep the hair in as we're rolling the system. And none other better to show this than our hair system expert.
So I usually do one thumb, so hand like an L, under, hand like an L, under. And that's how I usually get the hair to stay away, is I hold it like that. So we don't have tape right now, but just to give you an idea, matching it right to where the curve that we've cut on the head. So see how that's gonna match up right there, perfect. And as we go, we're gonna kind of one at a time, step by step.
Roll and stretch.
Roll and stretch. So if you look, on Aaron right now it's not matching completely. That's because I don't have tape and I'm not stretching, but usually I would tension stretch. Stretch, 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 roll, 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 and then look at him, beautiful.
I feel beautiful, thank you Melissa. That was a great tutorial. So as Melissa said, make sure that you roll and stretch when you're placing the system, that it covers right to the edge. And if you are doing this yourself, you would do the same method as Melissa has shown. So for me, for placement, I place like this, then we moved to the back. Now to find out where the hair is, I usually place my finger just on the hair where I feel the hairline drop. Then I place my system and stretch and roll and stretch and roll. And this is how I would place from the back to the front. And you can see here, I'm keeping the hair out all the time by moving my fingers along the hair, but stretching and pushing down at the same time. And then when we get to the final end, make sure you keep the hair back, push down, and there we go. And then push to make sure that it is nicely in place, and you will get full coverage. Now make sure you don't overstretch onto your own hair. It is a fine science sometimes, but once you get it once, you will get it right every single time. Make sure you're close to the mirror when you're applying your hair system, and it'll make it a lot easier for you to see the clean lines. Okay. Moving on to the next one, front to back. Okay, if we are placing from front to back, we want to make sure that we place our system on exactly where we want it to sit. Then we're going to take our system up, and we're going to take a little marker and just place it exactly in the middle of the system, twist, and I think you can see there we have a little white dot. You can move it along in a few different places where if you feel a bit more comfortable. I like to leave one, it's just easy, wipe away. And then I have the trusty Melissa, who's gonna show how it's done properly.
Okay, so doing it from the front, I'm gonna stand in front of Aaron and beat his space a little bit. Okay, so if we're applying from the front, easiest way at home, sometimes just have a mirror on your lap. You'll look down and you'll look for that dot and you'll start applying. Same thing as last time, holding the hair back, side to side. And then Aaron, just head down for me a little bit. So you want to match that lace right to where that dot's going to be. So that looks about right. And you're going to stretch and roll, roll and roll and roll. And that's it.
That was quick.
Fabulous.
The experts always get it right. Will I showcase at the mirror and see if I can do it?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, can I have a mirror, please, to put on my lap? Okay, so we're gonna work with the little mark that we have. And this is a great little tip from Melissa. So again, we wanna make sure that we keep the hair out of the way. So I always place my fingers just like this. Now we've marked a dot just in the middle of the system. So I'm gonna look down into the mirror. So I'm gonna face down forward. I want to place my system exactly where the dot is. Then I'm going to roll and stretch and roll, and then gradually bring my head up into the mirror that's in front of me, making sure that you roll and stretch, and you can feel the edges with your thumb to make sure that you're stretching it farther up down. And then when you get to the back, you want to make sure you don't leave a gap. So keep your finger where you can feel the hair, and then just bring it and stretch it right down and place. And there you go.
Perfection.
Perfection. Now we've shown you how to put your system on the front or put it on from the back. Next, I'm going to show you how to tape the system on the system itself, or actually place tape on your head. So, a few different ways. Okay, so first of all, we want to show you how you can tape on your scalp really easily. So previously we had marked a little spot of where we want the system to be. So I'm just going to remark that there again. So it's pretty much just below my hairline. Can you see the mark? Okay, so once we have that mark in place, we have more of a V-shaped system. So I use my V-shaped tape, and this is fantastic. I absolutely love this. They last a long time. I've also put alcohol on my head, and I have sprayed with my barrier. There we go, there's the mark. And then we place on just like so. Once you've placed it, make sure you've pushed down firmly, and then you're gonna roll the piece back close to the scalp, and you can see it just sticks so nicely along the way. So we have there on our front hairline, and then we're just going to place around the sides here as well. So for this area here, I'm gonna place some rounded pieces. So we wanna place around the hairline so it all reaches through. Now, the best way to take this tape off is take it off where it sticks and joins with the other tape, because it peels off seamlessly without you having to put too much work in. And then we do the very same on the other side. Alright, so the next thing is, if you want to have a more aerated taping process, you can leave little gaps in between where we tape. So for instance, we'll take another piece of tape, and I usually leave about between 1/4 to 1/2 inch. So if you're showering, the water runs through, or if you're a heavy sweater, it gives somewhere where the sweat can release. And for those heavy sweaters, the system can actually stay on a little bit longer if you leave a few gaps in between, so the scalp can breathe. So you can use a straight edge or a rounded edge, whatever pleases. And I just place around. And then you just leave little gaps in between, basically. So we're going to continue that around the rest of the head, but I'm going to pass you over to Melissa so you can see how she's after taping the system itself, if we weren't to already have put it on the scalp.
Hey.
Okay, so Melissa has prepped this tape already. This is the Extend the Bond. So this also has some aerated holes in it, and you place it just along the edge of the system. This is one of my favorite tapes because it's super strong and it works really, really well. Now Melissa has also taped a finer piece around the edge of the system here as well. This is also to leave a little bit more air around the front of the hairline so that it can breathe a little better. So if I'm having a sweaty or oily day, or I'm going for a run, there's somewhere for the sweat to be released, not only in the front, but also the back. Now you can also put a little bit of tape here as well if you blow dry your hair a lot, or if you use a brush or any tools. It will give you a little bit more support if you tape in the middle here, so it doesn't stretch or pull the system. And sometimes that's something I like to do, especially if I know I'm doing some TV work. I want to make sure that it's really well adhered. They're the two ways, and two, in my opinion, best ways to tape. If you want to glue a hair system, you can simply Place glue along the edge of the system. You can place it over your full scalp area and obviously map out the frontal area. I'm a tape person. This is the best way I can show you how to tape. Maybe in our next chapter, I'll show you a few ways how to glue and the best glues to use. Okay, so for me, I have a very crazy work week and actually crazy work weeks ahead. And I want to make sure that this system lasts a long time. So I've already taped around my scalp, and this is another way you can actually double tape. So place on the scalp, place on the system. Your hair system is going nowhere. Let's do it.
Perfect. Just look down for me a little bit more. Thank you.
Always make sure that you are sitting straight,
Yes.
that your head's not tilted when you're applying your hair system. That's the worst thing you can do because the hair system will tilt on one side. So always sit up straight, whether you're having it applied in a salon or whether you're applying yourself. Oh, it feels so good.
Yay! Cute. Let's get a towel, apply some pressure.
Okay. So next up is the towel, applying pressure. This will help adhere the glue to the head.
I'm gonna apply your own.
And with edit, usually you apply your own pressure because you know what pain you can tolerate when you're pressing down. This adheres it right to the head, and it also works out any bubbles that you might have in the tape. Then next up we use a bamboo brush. Now bamboo brushes are the best thing you can possibly use for a hair system. This has hair in it. Oh, my hair. This has some bald ends on it. So when these are bald, they have wooden bristles. This will not tear your system. This is actually mine. This is the AOB bamboo hairbrush. You can purchase it at aobproducts.ca or aobproducts.com. But this is great, and they retail for $13 Canadian. But this is the perfect thing for detangling your system, and actually it's one of the reasons why I created it, to make sure it didn't scrape your own natural scalp or it broke your hair system. It keeps it nice and safe. So you can see I'm actually brushing vigorously with this, and it's completely fine. It will not tear my system because of those nice wooden ends. And it's all made of bamboo. I hope you found this video super informative and you've learned something that you'll be able to use at home yourself or to communicate when you're in having your hair system done and to make you feel a little bit more comfortable. I'll see you all very soon. I've got a blow dry my hair. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you have any questions, don't forget to put them in the comments. Click the link to subscribe, and I hope to see you all very soon. Bye!